again. It's a great run by Michael Owen, and he might finish it off. Oh, it's a wonderful goal! What an amazing moment in Michael Owen's young career.
He was so precocious at that time. You know, a teenager who didn't have any fear. He said, well, OK, I may be a kid, but I'm going to take you all by surprise. And suddenly, the fear was in the Argentinians' eyes. As he moved towards them, they were backing off, and you're thinking, OK, now just pass it. And you could see Paul Scholes appearing out of the corner of your eye, and you're thinking, give it to Scholesy, give it to Scholesy. And you can actually see Scholesy screaming for the ball. And Owen ignores him, absolutely ignores him, and lashes it in. And you think, hold on, that's one of ours doing that against the Argentinians. This really could be our night. This is sensational.
That was Michael Owen in 1998. He was, you know, fast as a blur to begin with, but just so wonderfully, naively confident. Nothing fazed him, nothing bothered him. He was on that stage and he felt that he belonged from the beginning, and so once he finished the run, smash it into the top corner, and that's what he did.
You take away that memory, and you take away the memory of a press box, jaded, cynical hacks, if you like, all to a man. Even some of the Scottish guys in the press box, and I'm sure they won't thank me for saying so, were up on their feet, just looking at each other in disbelief. And as the players were hugging each other and scrambling to get to Michael Owen, a load of journalists were looking at each other going, yes, and throwing our arms around each other.
Laptops flying everywhere, pens, notepads, people just couldn't help themselves. I mean, here was a young lad coming in at this huge tournament and just, well, just treating it as if it was a park game. It was, I think, definitely the greatest World Cup goal scored by an Englishman, that's for sure.
It's a wonderful moment because it's a goal for Mexico in Mexico City in front of 120,000 people. Anybody who's watched football in Mexico will never forget it.
Negrete. And Negrete again! Magnificent goal!
It was a great move.
As he plays the 1-2, the ball never touches the ground.
I think there are 5 touches there and the ball touches the ground once. It's just tip, tap, tap, tap. It's like a little training ground game that they're playing where the ball's not allowed to touch the ground until it touches the back of the net.
The scissor kick was perfection. You know, he's thrown himself up and you think, oh, he's diving for a penalty, but then suddenly he's swiveled and he's just spun the ball into the far corner across the goalkeeper.
Volley's actually hit with a lot of control. There's a lot talked about body position in analysis of volleying a ball, and I don't think you'll find any football textbook which says that the body position should be completely horizontal, as it is in that case. But somehow Negrete finds the kind of balance to be able to steer the ball exactly where he wants it to go.
Everything about that goal was South American. You know, everybody forgets that, you know, the Mexicans have got the touch, the equal of a Brazilian, of an Argentinian, and the vision to be able to do that was outstanding.
3 touches, and I don't know which is my favourite. Control, turn, finish. Can you think of anybody who could have scored that goal with that kind of style and panache? Anybody? I can't.
Long ball play towards Bergkamp. Bergkamp's come inside, and Bergkamp has scored a sublime goal, the sort of goal that only he can score.
Just remember the pass as much as anything. Bergkamp had peeled off, and De Boer to pick him out, inch perfectly from probably 50 or 60 yards, the control from Bergkamp, the balance to take it past the defender, and then just that little stab off the outside of his foot. He didn't panic, he didn't rush. It was like ice water sort of flowing through his veins, you know, despite the fact it was 90 degrees and it was this huge match against Argentina.
I think if you know the man, you understand the goal. He's one of those players who goes cool in what I call hot situations, and the way that he touched the ball, brought it inside the fella and knocked it in is genius, really.
The stage was set. England against Argentina. Maradona, this phenomenal, squat, quick, elusive player. He took the ball in the centre of the field, and there was Peter Reid.
Number 16, is he? Starts to chase Maradona. And actually, really, for a chugger, was no slouch over the first few yards. But after about 3 paces, he kind of starts to wave him goodbye. And and Peter satisfies himself with having one of the best views in the house and one of the best goals ever scored.
I remember speaking to Peter about it a few years ago and saying, you know, Pete, why didn't you just hack him down on the halfway line? I said, you had the chance. He said, I couldn't even get close enough to kick him. He said, that's how good he was.
I think, to be honest, now he looks back, he can also just feel a privilege to have been on the same pitch as possibly the world's greatest player, playing possibly his greatest ever game.
But we haven't been able to control the play in midfield the way that Maradona has been able to do. And he's hurting England again here. It's a brilliant run. It's one of the World Cup great goals.
The vision, the pace, the balance, but just the strength to hold off 5 or 6 tackles. And even when Terry Butcher comes in and slides in, most players would have collapsed underneath it. But Maradona had the wherewithal to keep his balance, pick his spot. And although Terry Butcher will tell you he probably got the last touch, it's not one that he's ever going to claim.
I think he's dethroned Pele. I've never seen such a wonderful player. He's fantastic.
It is a fantastic moment, and David Pleat said it straight away. You know, this is the best player in the world now, and that was the goal, probably his greatest ever goal.
I remember that Azteca Stadium in Mexico went absolutely crazy. And, of course, I think England, tongue-in-cheek, really knew that they'd seen a goal scored against them of the very, very, very highest quality.
It's the goal that the victory and the team deserved. It's what they could do. No other team at that World Cup could do that. Maybe no other team before or since has been able to do that. It is their signature moment.
It just epitomises all that's great about Brazilian football. Pace, the rhythm, the balance, the control, and a stunning finish at the end.
I think everyone can understand this being the winning goal, the context, the Brazil 1970 team. There's just a joy about it that I think sums up the 1970 Brazil side, and well, it makes you smile to watch it, doesn't it? It's exuberant, and that's what Brazilian football is.
It only happened once in the 1970 World Cup, and we know who did that. I don't think Brazil are going to do it here. Erzino, faced by Facchetti. Oh, it's not a bad ball for Pele on the right side. It's Carlos Alberto. And what a great goal that was!
Everything about that goal was just was perfection personified. The little turns, the little drag backs, and then suddenly Carlos Alberto came charging up from the back. You know, he must have run 40 or 50 yards just to get on the end of it. It was absolutely magnificent.
This goal really epitomised everything about Brazil, the way they waited for players to come and support, the way they took their time, the way they worked the ball from the left of the field to the right of the field, and the way Pele just held the ball and waited and almost teased the Italian defence. And then at the last second, when he knew that Carlos Alberto was on his shoulder, he just waited and slipped that ball as though to say, here it comes, here it comes. And Carlos Alberto came and thundered that shot into the far corner. That was beautiful football.
Well, it seems only fair, really, that the #1 spot goes to that seminal Brazilian World Cup winning team from 1970, although any of the top 5 could have been worthy winners. We've seen some great goals, and I hope brought back some great memories.
Oh, it's not a bad ball for Pele on the right side. It's Carlos Alberto. And what a great goal that was!